save the report and go to view data. And if you run the query now, and if you export it, you see that the group names are changed. And if you look at the XML output and format it, you see the groups now. So you have invoice header, and that is the outermost group, right? So you have, even though we have 4 queries in the data model, this is like a parent query, and within this query you have all these details. So there is a parent-child relationship between this one and all other 3 queries. So that's why you see that G invoice header is an outermost group, and within that, what do you have? Within that, you have invoice header details printed, and then you have G invoice lines group, and you have the lines details printed there. Since there is only one line, there is only one repetition of this group. But if there are multiple lines on an invoice, you will see this tag getting repeated. If there are 2 lines, you will have this repeated one more time, like this. Okay. So, and what else you have? You have a bill to details group and a ship to details group, right? Invoice header details, and within that you have lines information, bill to customer details information, and ship to customer details information. So, and within each group you have attributes again. Each attribute will have a start and an end tag, and between the start and end tag you have the actual values. So does it make sense to print this output to a business user? If I print this to a business user, or imagine us sending this output to a customer. So will he be able to understand that, yeah, I need to pay $1,000 against this particular transaction number? No, right? So it makes sense to convert this XML format into a format that looks like this. And that is where a report comes into picture. So if we go back to the first slide that we have seen yesterday. So BAP report build has 2 bits, BA publisher report build, a data model and a report layout. We are done with the data model, and unfortunately this generated XML output. We need to now build a report layout to convert this XML output into a PDF format, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And the good news is, in ERP Cloud, you have an option to auto-generate the report layout based on data model. When you have to create a report layout, you don't need to open up a Word document, save it as .rtf and start building it from scratch. You don't need to build it from scratch. In fact, you never do it. We auto-generate a layout, auto-generate the report, and then we edit the layout to align it with the customer output. So how to auto-generate a report output? Before you auto-generate a report output, one step you need to do in the data model. In the data model, you go to the view, and you need to click on this tab called Save as Sample Data. So what this will do is, it will save this XML output as a sample data, and you will be able to see that file in the Properties tab. So if you go to Properties tab, if you scroll down, there will be a sample.xml file in there. So this saving the sample.xml file is important, because when you create a report from here, from a data model, you will be auto-generating a report layout, right? So when you auto-generate a report layout, the BA server needs to know what is the hierarchy between the groups that you have, or what is the data structure. So for that reason, saving a sample XML is important. And now that we have done that, click on Create Report to create a report for the data model. And it will take you into a screen wherein you see a sort of a wizard. Okay, you see a sort of a report creation wizard. If you want, you can go through these steps and create a report layout, but this is not something that we do. You don't need to use a guide me kind of an editor, guide me editor. So all you do is click on cancel here. It asks for your confirmation. Click OK. Just cancel the report creation, and that will bring you into this screen. And in this screen, you go ahead and search for the data model. Select the data model that you created. Click OK. And then you see 2 options here. You can either upload an RTF document, or you can generate an RTF document. So the report layout is generally in RTF format. RTF stands for rich text format, in case you're hearing it for the first time. So you have this auto-generate option. This is what I was talking about earlier. So what we do is I'll show you how to use both options. First, we will use this to generate a report, to generate the RTF layout, and then we edit that RTF layout to make it look like this, and then we we use this option to upload that RTF document. So you click on generate first, and you say, you can probably call it as auto generate layout or auto generated layout. Click on generate, and that will generate a layout for you. And this is an RTF document that is generated. We'll open it up and edit it in a moment. But for now, if I go ahead and view the report, it will ask me to save the report first. Go ahead and save it. And you can probably call it as AR invoice print report or just AR invoice report. Click OK. And you want to, if you click on view report now, you will notice that the output is generated. You select a different transaction and go and click OK. And what do you see in there? The output is looking much better now. It is getting displayed in a HTML format, as you can see, HTML in there. Output is getting displayed in HTML format. But if I want, I can generate the output and print the invoice in any other format I want. So if I want to print the output in PDF format, I can change it to PDF format. And when I change it to PDF, a PDF output is getting generated, right? But this is a far better than the XML output, right? But definitely this layout needs to be fine-tuned. We can't send this PDF output to customer. This PDF output needs to be converted into this PDF output or a PDF file that looks like this. Okay. So what we were able to do, we were able to auto-generate a layout which is generating a PDF output now, not an XML output. So we are halfway through, but all we need to do is we need to fine-tune this layout so that it looks like, so this output looks like this. Okay. So how do we do it? You go back into report and you will notice that there is an RTF document created. There is an RTF document created and you click on edit. So if you go to report, edit it. You can download this RTF document. You can just click on edit and it will download the document, or you can go to click on view a list and you can click on this as well. You can download the RTF document in two ways. Click on view thumbnails and click on edit. That will download the document, the RTF layout. And you copy that document and go to BIP reports. So this is an auto-generated RTF layout. And I want to make changes in this layout. I want to make changes in this layout, in this RTF layout, which stands for rich text format. The good news is this is nothing but a Word document. So if you know Microsoft Word, you know how to work with RTF. If you don't know Microsoft Word, you will have to enroll in a different training course. Okay, so all the features that you use here to design a layout or to change this layout into a layout that looks like this, all you need to know is how to use a Microsoft Word, nothing more than that. And if you look at this document that is generated, yes, there is what Oracle will do by default is, yeah, it will stamp Oracle logo. It will have a default tag and it will print a date and timestamp there, date and a page number. And if you look at the RTF layout, in the RTF layout, you will see these tags. You will see these tags. Say, for example, if you look at the output that is generated, let's go ahead and run the report. View the report and select the transaction number and run the report. Change it to PDF. And how is the output looking like? The output is getting printed. So whatever you see in here in this table, it is getting printed there. Logo and Oracle DA Publisher, whatever text is there, it is getting printed there. And a date and a timestamp and the page number are getting printed. But if you look at this table, so you have a table in RTF document and the table is getting printed as is. But there is one difference there. Yes, the header row. So every table has a header, right? So this table header row, it is nothing but a static text. And that header row is getting printed as is, right? But if you look at the data rows, these data rows, or these in this row, it is not the tags that are getting printed, but the actual values getting printed. So under currency is getting printed, BU name is getting printed, right? How is it working? The way it works is in RTF document, you will use XML tags. Okay, so if you look at the XML output, what is the tag for currency? The tag for currency is this, right? So you copy this tag and you go ahead and in the RTF document, wherever you want to print the currency, you will have to use this format. So you take the XML tag and you wrap it around these tags. Less than question mark and question mark greater than, and in between these tags place the XML tag or XML attribute. So if you place this and if you place it anywhere so anywhere you print the currency in the RTF document, you just place in this tag. Okay, and that is what exactly is done by Oracle here. When it generated this layout, it has generated for currency, under currency it has generated an XML tag. And if you click on it, what do you see in there? There is a currency XML tag in there. So what will the application do? Wherever it sees these XML tags, it will, first of all, when you run the report here, when you click on apply, this report will go ahead and run the data model. How does the report know what data model it needs to run? If you remember, we created a report by picking up a data model. So this report knows which data model it needs to execute. So it will run the data model, and that data model will pull the information in XML format, and it will generate this, and this XML will be generated. And this XML file will be consumed by the RTF document. So this RTF document will consume that XML output. And wherever these XML tags are there, it will replace them with the actual values. So instead of printing currency here, it will print the value of the currency here. So that is how these XML tags are getting replaced with the actual values. So instead of currency, here currency is getting printed, here BU name is getting printed, here transaction number is getting printed. So if you look at the tag for transaction number, what is the tag that is used? A transaction number. If you look at the XML data, transaction number is a tag for the transaction number. So apart from these usual tags, XML tags, there will also be a group level tags. Okay, so in here, in this XML file, so for this invoice, there is only one line, right? There is only one line, right? But in case there are multiple lines, in case there are, say, let's assume that there are multiple lines, there are 2 lines in the invoice, then you will see 2 lines in the XML output as well. Let's say the line number is 2 and the quantity is 2. Let's say the unit price is 2000, amount is 2000, or amount is 4000 rather, 2 into 2000. And let's change this description to a invoice FPDI 2. Okay. So if invoice 5001 had 2 lines, you would see two occurrences of G invoice lines. So in the first occurrence of G invoice line, there will be the first line details that will be printed, and in the second occurrence of in the second group for the lines, there will be a second line information printed. When you have groups which can be repeated, when you have groups wherein you can have multiple lines possible, in such cases, so if you look at this table, what is getting printed here? So this is a table for header query, and this is a table for lines query. So if you look at the lines query, again, lines query has a header row and a data row as well. But if you look at the lines query, you could see that there is an additional tag in there. There is an additional tag called G and E in there, which is not, and what are these tags? So if you click on it, click on add help text, and what do you see in there? You see a for each tag in there. So what will this for each tag do? So we are saying, so this is, if you use for each, okay, let me copy the start tag. This is a start tag for each tag, and this is an end tag. And this is a end tag for each. So if we put some elements in between these for each tags, what RTF will do is, it will repeat this section, it will repeat the columns that you have placed here for each and every line you have in the invoice. So in the invoice, there could be multiple lines possible. So in case there are multiple lines, go through the lines, loop through each and every line. And how are we letting application know, how are we requesting application to loop through the lines? We are passing that information with the help of for each. So we put in a for each tag and we say the group name, lines group. So we are saying loop through the lines section, and whatever lines are there, repeat those, or print this information rather for each and every line. So if there are 2 lines, repeat this row 2 times, print the first line details, and then add in another line to the table and print in the second line details. Okay. So 2 types of XML tags possible: normal XML tags, wherein you print field details, and for each or a group level XML tags, which you can use to loop through a repeatable group. Okay. So to see you, to show this in action, how this group tags work, and for you guys also, if you want to practice this RTF, and if you want to, so one way to, it is not mandatory to have a BI Publisher desktop software installed. So there is a software called BI Publisher Desktop. Okay, so if you want to work extensively with RTF documents, you can go ahead and download this particular software from Oracle site. You can directly download it from there. You need to pick up your Windows version number and download the software. An executable file gets downloaded. You go ahead and install that. And after you install the software, if you go into your Word document, you will be able to see a tab like this, like a BI Publisher. So you see in my Word document, after help, I could see a BI Publisher in there, right? So once you install a BI Publisher desktop software in your machine or laptop, you will be able to see this tab. So this tab helps you to keep making changes to your RTF document, and this will give you an option to generate PDF output directly from the RTF here. If you don't have this, even for a small change that you make, if you want to see how the output looks like, you will have to upload the RTF document to the report layout. So if you have time and patience to do that, you don't need to install BI Publisher Desktop. If you are okay to see each and every change in the application itself. But if you want to save some time, or if you want to explore how the output is going to look like from within the RTF document, without uploading the layout to the application, you can do it with the help of BI Publisher Desktop software. So I have this software installed, and I go to sample XML, and let me save this. Where is this saved? This is saved in the download. So what I do is I will load in this file, and this is an XML file. This is the XML file generated by data model. But instead of just one line, I have added one more line in there. I just copy pasted it just to show you how group tags work. Okay, I can load in this XML. So what I can do is go to BI Publisher tab, and there is a sample XML tab in there. So click on it, and it will ask you to select the XML file. So I select the XML file, click OK. You get a confirmation that data is loaded. And then you go ahead and go back to the BI Publisher, and you have an option to generate output in any of these formats. You can generate it in PDF format, Excel, or any format you want. So I want to generate output in PDF format. So if I say PDF, what do you see in there? So you see that the output is generated from within the old document itself, from within the RTF document, I can see the PDF generated. And what do you see in there? In the line section, you see the 2 lines are getting printed. Why 2 lines are getting printed? How does application know that it needs to loop? It needs to loop through the line section. Application knows it because we have explicitly mentioned it in there. So we said was loop through the line section, and what tag did we place in there? For each, and we have ended the for each at the end. So between these for each tags, so we are saying for each line there is for each invoice line rather, print all these information. So what does it do? It prints the first line details, it goes to the next row, and it prints the second line details. So if you take out these, so if you look at the output generated with those group tags for each tag, you see 2 lines getting printed, right? So if you take out this for each tag, let's see how it works. Let's see what happens. So if you take out this for each tag and generate a PDF output, what will it do? You're not letting it know that there could be multiple lines loop through it. So what does it do? It will just print the first line and it will come out of it, right? So that is the usage of for each tags. If you use for each tags, it will loop through all the lines and it will print both the lines. And if you don't use for each tags, it will just print. It doesn't know that it has to loop through the group. It will print the first line and it will come out of it. Okay. And yeah, now that we know how the XML tags work, let's try to align this output with this PDF. Okay, so let me pull this out. And let me close these outputs. So for the final output should look like this. So let's start off with a header. So what do? I don't need to print the Oracle logo. Clients do not want to see the Oracle logo on their report output. So they want to insert their own logo in there. So you get the client logo from, you get the logo from the client and you will insert it here. So what I'll insert here is, I will insert a training institute logo. So I'll insert it there. And I will change this to AR invoice print. And from here on, for the next 15-20 minutes, whatever I am doing in this RTF document, so those are all Microsoft Word features. Okay, so I'll be rearranging the fields. I'll be giving a space between the fields. I'll be rearranging. Everything I do for the next 15 minutes is nothing but using Microsoft Word features. So in case you're not very familiar with Microsoft Word features, like how to give a spacing, how to do the alignment and all that stuff, feel free to look at some crash courses on Microsoft Word. Okay. So you add in this, so you change the font size to probably 20 to make it look a bit neat and clean, or maybe 22. And you leave the date and a page information like that. Yeah. And what you do after each and every section, after fixing each and every section, you can go ahead and print the output to see how it looks like. So you go ahead and print the output now, PDF output, and you see the output getting printed now. Okay, and you try to compare it with the sample output that you have got. Okay, and yeah, you could see the details in there, but it makes sense to take out the border. So if you don't want to see the border, you can take it off. What you can do is you can select the table and you can say no border. And you go to BA Publisher and you can print the output again. And you can see the details getting printed. But if you think it looks better with a PDF with a border, you can leave it as such. It's up to you again. And if you leave the border, as is, you see that these are getting jammed against the line, right? So you might want to give some space after the line before the date is printed and the logo is printed. So if you want to do that, what you can do is you can select this row. So you can select this row, and what you do is you go to home, you go to paragraph, and you can give a spacings for each and every paragraph. So let me show you the navigation again. Select the table, go to home page, and under paragraph you have all the alignment options available here. Paragraph alignment options. So you click on paragraph, and you say before you print this line, give a 6-point space or say 3-point space. So you say 3 point, click OK, and you notice that there is a 3-point space before the line, and this tag is printed. So that is applied only for the first column, only for the middle column. So you select all the rows and you go to a paragraph and you say give a spacing of 3 points before the table, or before the actual data is printed. So you click OK. You notice that after the line there is a bit of space now. You can go to BA Publisher and print the PDF output, and you can see if the output is looking fine now. So it's looking better now. So this is very close to what Oracle has, or what client has asked me to print. Okay, and yeah, there is a difference in the font size, so I can change this to 117. Okay, and you can, let's select the second table now. So the output is looking like this now. Okay, the output is looking like this. And so the first table is fixed now. First table is very close to how Oracle wants it, or how client wants it. And let's work on the second table. In the second table, we want to print 4 columns, right? But how many columns are getting printed in our table, in the report output? You have 7 columns getting printed. So when a data model auto-generates a report layout, it will include all the columns that are there in that query by default. In fact, if you look at the details that are generated, it will from each and every group, for every group, there will be a table created. There are 4 queries or 4 groups in our data model. So that's why 4 tables. And in each group, there are a few columns that you have selected, right? So all those columns will be printed, whether it is an ID or not, it doesn't matter. Oracle will not use any intelligence. It will print all the columns by default. So do you think it makes sense to print the customer transaction ID or a bill to ID and a ship to ID to the customer? So if I'm looking at this report output as a customer, I don't care what ID is assigned to this transaction in ERP Cloud, or do I? It doesn't matter to me, right? So customer wants to see only these 4 details, right? So take out all the unwanted columns and rearrange the columns in the first table so that output looks like this. So how you can do that? So first take out unwanted columns. So we need only the first 4 columns. We don't need these 3 columns. So delete them. And you can rearrange them. And you can also change the numbers if you want. So the first column should be transaction number. And also the labels need to be in init caps. It cannot be all caps. So the first column is transaction number. Second column is transaction date. Third column is currency code. Fourth column is business unit. And I'll place the business unit in there. Transaction date in here. Transaction number should be the first column. Currency should be the last column. Or should be the last but one column. And let's go ahead and print the output. Yes, the output is looking fine, and it's printing only the 4 columns. But if you look at the table size, it is row width is small, and the lines are also getting jammed against the start line and the end line, right? So what we do is we set a specific width but to the table for each row. So you select the table, do a right click on table properties, and you go to row and you specify the height. So it's a height, not the width. So you say a 0.22 and you say exactly, or you say 0.2 or 0.3. You keep trying out the options and see what works best for you. So you say 0.2 and there is a column, the rows are looking neat and clean now, right? So it is not too small, not too big. And again, I want to align these fields to the middle. And I want to give a bit of spacing before and after the lines are printed. So I'll say 3-point space before it is printed, so that you will see a space before the labels and the data is printed. So you save it, go to BA Publisher tab, go to PDF output and generate it. And it's looking better now. So the second table is also fixed, and it's looking like what customer has asked us for a transaction details. And let's go ahead and fix the line section. Let's go ahead and fix the line section, and then we can come to first fix the line section, and then we can come to the build to and ship to section. So for how the line section should appear like this. So how is the line section looking like at the moment? You've got these details in there. So you've got some unnecessary details in there, like you don't need a customer transaction ID. You need to take it off. So don't delete it straight away, because if you delete it, you will also lose the for each tag in there. So you copy the for each tag, move it to the next line, and you take out this tag, transaction ID, because you don't need transaction ID, right? And you change the column headings to this. Okay, so what you can do, you can copy the column headings from here, and you can paste it here. All right, it's okay. It just takes 2 minutes. You can just copy it, and what you need to print, a line number followed by description, quantity, unit price, line type, and amount, right? And rearrange the columns as appropriate. So quantity should go into quantity. Description should come into description. Unit price should go into unit price. Amount should go into amount. Line type should go into line type. And let's apply the same thing here, same formatting that we applied to this. So first let's expand the table. And let's rearrange the column width. So it is all, it is as simple as working with a Word document, nothing more than that. So again, for this table, let's set the height and arrange them and select the appropriate paragraph properties. So you select the table properties, specify height, say 0.22, and say exactly, click OK. And you go ahead and select the paragraph properties. So you give a 3-point spacing before it, and you arrange them to the middle. Okay, that's how you print the output. And apart from this, there is one more thing that was missing. So we didn't add in an aggregate column to pull the totals to pull the line total. So if you go back to the data model, what you can do is there is one feature called aggregate columns. So if you go back into catalog, go back to data model. So we didn't do this, but what you can do is I can show you how to add in that query. So you have this main query, right? Invoice query. And what I want to do is I want to display the sum of lines amount, and I want to display it for each and every transaction. So I have amounts column in the lines table. In the lines query, I can drag and drop that amount query on this box, which says a drop here for aggregate function. So drop that column there. And when you do it, you will see a pop-up. You will see a column getting added, and you click on it and you go to properties, and you can change the property name. You can say a CS or transaction total. Edit the tag, and you can select the function as summary, because I want the sum of amounts to be displayed at a transaction level, and you can click OK. And what will happen if you run the report now? If you go to the data tab, you select the invoice and then click on view, and you will be able to see the details now. So what do you see in there? You see all the details that we have seen as well, but apart from the invoice lines and the bill to customer details, ship to customer details, you see a total section as well. So if you save in this XML file, and if you create a report layout, ideally we should be creating a report layout after adding this column as well. But now that we have already done this, that's okay. But this is how you add an aggregate column. And in the report output, wherever you want to see that, wherever you want to display that total amount, what do? You add in another table and you take out these columns and you will add in a total here and you will add in that XML tag here. Okay, so that will display the total amount if you want. And what you can do is we can take it out as well. So you can save it as a sample data and you can export the output if you want. And you can load in that XML file, the sample XML that is generated just now. And I want to display the total section here. So I don't want to delete these rows. I want to hide the borders. None. And I will enable only the bottom border for this row. Okay. All I'm trying to do is get this total section look like this. Okay. So for this row, again, you type in total and you put it in bold and you add in the total section here. So you select the column and you select the borders again and you enable this border, the left border. You select the table borders and you go to borders and sections and you enable it. And once you enable it, you will be able to see the border. And here, what do I want to print? I want to print the total section here. So the total, it's not there in the auto-generated layout, but you can quickly insert it. What you can do is you can go to BA Publisher. You can go to BA Publisher and you can click on Insert Field there. Click on Field and that will show you the fields. And if you scroll down, you will be able to see a CS transaction total field in there. Select it and insert it. And when you click on Insert, you will see an XML tag getting inserted there. So this is how you insert XML tags in case you need additional tags. Okay. And you can also change the format this. Okay. And we have fixed the line section as well. But there are two more sections that we need to fix. So if you look at this here, we can print the PDF output and we can see how it looks like. Okay, so the output is looking fine. The line is getting printed, total is getting printed, but there is this additional border that got enabled. So let's take it off. Select this particular column, table properties, go to borders and shading and take out the left part. Only select those two columns. So all you have to do is trial and error with it. There's nothing more than that. Okay, so we have aligned the line section also along with, we have aligned the header section and the main logo section and the line section with what a client is expecting. But we need to edit the bill to section and the ship to section to make it look like this table, which we'll see in tomorrow's session. Okay, we'll pause here for today and we'll stop here for today and we will pick it up from here tomorrow. We'll align the bill to and ship to layouts and then we'll go ahead and carry out the remaining steps. Any questions, guys? Any questions in what we covered today?
Are we seeing to how to schedule the ESS as well on top of this?
Yes, that is that is the next step. We will be covering it tomorrow because so far we have been running it as a report here, right? A data model and a report. Tomorrow I'll show you how to register it as an ESS job and how to schedule it.
How we are getting all this kind of material? I mean, the queries.
Sorry,
I mean, how we get that all this kind of material, the one whatever you created, the queries and everything. So, how we are getting that documents?
nobody will give you any document for this query. So you will have to write it yourself.
So you are not providing the SQL here for our practice.
I've already shared this file in the chat. I'm not sure if you have dialed in late. I've already pinged it in the chat. So you can copy this SQL sheet. So you go to chat. There is a SQL query tab in
I
there.
joined a little later.
And regarding the PPTs, I'm not sure if you have enrolled in the course, but if you have enrolled, you would have received a first set of PPTs.
Okay. I already enrolled yesterday evening, but I didn't get anything. Maybe they might send it.
You didn't get any email. Okay, so they will be sending an email with these PPTs are there, right? The PPTs will be shared with you by the institute, training institute.
Got it. Okay.
And any material that I use, like this one, ad hoc notes, I will be sharing it within the session itself.
Okay.
Prasad, can you whenever we are done with this, can you show us how to modify the existing report, like?
That is also in scope. That is our next step.
Okay.
So we are talking about, it's good that everyone is thinking about what we are about to cover. So the next step is how to register and run this as an ESS job, and a step after that is how to deliver the file. I'm not sure why no one asked about this. I thought I expected this question from one of you at least. So we are building this report, right? How do we deliver it? I think it's probably because I mentioned that we'll complete tomorrow. Okay, so we look at the bursting. So tomorrow we look at how to run this as an ESS job, and if time permits, we'll cover the bursting, and then I'll show you how to customize a seeded reports given by Oracle. Because all we're doing here is building our own report, right? And in some cases, in some rare scenarios, or some cases, you might have to customize a seeded report. How do we do it? We'll cover that as well. Okay. Thanks. Yes.
Yeah, Prasad. Okay.
Prasad, I have one question, Prasad.
One second, Suresh. So tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, you will have functional overview sessions starting at 7 o'clock from 7 to 9. And Ravi will share a new meeting ID for you guys. Okay, Ravi will share the new meeting ID.
Okay.
Yes, Suresh, please go ahead.
Prasad, now this report customization, every time we are auto-generating it and we are adding the logos and all, right? So instead of that, suppose we are working for a particular project, can we, in the default itself, okay, can we put some standard logo? Instead of Oracle logo, I will remove it with the standard logo. Then whenever they are generating the auto-generate, so it will come up with that logo, okay, so that I will go and do little customization in the auto-generated template. Instead of every time, where some guy will add the small size logo, some guy will add bigger size logo, all this, instead of that, can we fix that template?
That's a very good idea, Suresh. But unfortunately, we don't have that feature available.
Okay.
But it would have saved some time for us.
Yes.
What you said is absolutely right. Yeah, it should. If Oracle has given a placeholder saying that, guys, upload your logo here,
Yes.
so that whenever we auto-generate a layout, we use this template. Probably we might see it in the next release, but yeah, at this point, you will have to upload it manually. And remember, I'm not sure if this confuses some of you, but I will still explain it. In EBS, if you want to print a logo dynamically, what do? You put it in OA media and you put a reference of that on the RTF layout, right?
Correct.
So that tomorrow if logo changes, it will automatically be printed or updated logo will be picked up. But in ERP Cloud, we don't have that option yet available yet in ERP Cloud. So tomorrow if logo changes, at this point you will have to update it manually. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Those it's evolving. Yeah.
Okay. So Prasad, this is one question on the bind parameters. So bind parameters will be identified with respect of P underscore or how is it going to be?
It is with the help of colon, not P underscore. P underscore it's like a convention that we normally use for parameters. It is a colon that will help. Yeah.
After equal it is colon, so it will not consider as a join. Okay. I think I missed. And one more question on security training link, right, where we can do some R&D on the security. So I think that got
Yeah.
I did not able to log in using
Okay.
yeah.
I will ask admin to share the new password. It will be shared.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Prasad,
Thank you.
Prasad, everyone in this class
Yes, please.
will get link for the functional, right? Is it a separate class?
No, it's a so as I mentioned in the initial sessions, it's what you have enrolled. So as part of your enrollment, you will get 40 hours of technical training and 20 hours of functional training.
Okay.
So it is for everyone who has enrolled in the course. So if you have enrolled in the course, you would receive a meeting invite today, which you can use to join functional session tomorrow. It will be for everyone. So it
Okay.
will be 40 hours functional technical training, 20 hours technical training, weekdays technical training, weekends functional training.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you will not be
Friday-
joining my meeting ID. It will be Ravi's meeting ID. Friday, yeah, Monday to Friday technical.
Okay.
Saturday, Sunday.
Hi, Prasad.
Hello.
Hi,
Yes, please go on.
Prasad. Yeah. So while you are creating the data set, we always choose the SQL option, SQL query. I mean, are there any instances
Correct.
where we need to use the other options?
To be frank, we use only SQL. In rare instances, you might use a web service. You might be invoking a web service. You might have to invoke a web service from a BIP report. But that too, I've seen that seen that use case in one of the projects. Even I didn't use it. But there are a few options in there if you want to explore. But in real time, we use only SQL.
Okay, got it. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, Prasad, you're not in here. Hello. Hello.
Yes, Narajan, please go on.
Prasad, there we have interactive form, dynamically you want to enter the user ID password. Assume that we are getting the credit card bills, so credit card PDF forms. So when it is open, it asks that please give your date of birth or some kind of security level. So will it possible over here?
Mhm. You can encrypt the output of the PDF. It is you can encrypt the file output generated if you want with the help of a password. But if it is usually a payment file that you are generating, there is a different encryption methodology that we use called PGP encryption, which I'll show you how to use when we do the payment formats. In the case of normal reports, PDF reports, yes, it is possible to encrypt it with the help of a password, but we normally don't do it. But in the case of files which you are exchanging, which might contain sensitive information, you have an encryption methodology called PGP available in cloud, which I'll show you how to do in the payment file format customization. Okay.
Normally this HCM side, like payslips, they normally they want to restrict, so even employers to.
Yeah, they encrypt it. Correct. I see where you're coming from. Yeah, it is possible. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. We'll meet again. We will meet on Monday, but you will have a functional training session with Ravi tomorrow. Okay, please don't forget that. And the timings are different. It starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, not 8 o'clock. Okay, 7 a.m. IST, and you will receive email with the details. Okay, don't worry. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time.